Hello, everybody. I'm Omnix. Y'all probably know me. I set this whole thing up, by which I mean I put it on the calendar. I want to just quick shout out to the people who are actually making this work. First shout out again to Catboy Slim, who graciously furnished this with a hefty purchase from IKEA. Big shout out to Plaster for operating our video and being on our ones and twos. Of course, big shout out to ohzee for taking care of the technical, more ResoNight side of things and being able to get people set up. None of this would be possible without you, and I've been having a lot of fun.
Hype helped a lot with the cameras.
Thank you, hype-vhs, as well for helping Plaster get set up with audio and video stuff.
What I'm talking about here, I had to spend a lot of time thinking about it. Sometimes you just have too many good ideas. My first one came after MFF. How to start a baller room party.
Holy shit.
I had a story from this, y'all have probably heard it. But I eventually decided, no, con season is over for me. And the scope of how to start a room party and not throw it and clean up after, that's way too narrow. I wanted to do a presentation on why Mahjong is my favorite competitive Uno core turn-based match 3 roguelike deck builder survival horror Among Us. But that would be too niche. I didn't want to have to explain each term and explain it in the context of Mahjong for a general audience. I thought about doing my principles for playing complex competitive games while having a good time. But I imagine people have seen me talking about this like maybe once a day for maybe the past 2 weeks. So I think that's too spicy to be presented. I thought about doing why interoperability, decentralization, and federation is really cool and really important. But the way that I present tech stuff, that would be too boring. Luckily, we can combine all of these topics. We can do something that is narrow in scope, niche, spicy, and boring. So once again, I come to you with a question. Is Costco a roguelite?
What?
What?
The machinations of his brain are truly incredible.
So I imagine that the total experience in this room is greater for roguelites than for Costco. So we're going to start off with Costco. Costco is a big ass warehouse store where you can get large quantities of small items. For example, the minimum pack of eggs, the smallest group of eggs you can buy is 2 dozen. If you want toilet paper, it'll fill up the cart of a normal sized shopping basket. Also, you can get small quantities of big items. You want a big ass TV? You want a computer? You want an electric scooter? You want a bike? You want a new fucking armoire? How about a sectional sofa? You can get all of those under the same roof. Usually these things come at a minute discount. From what I've seen, if your local grocery store has like a special offer on something, that's usually the normal price at Costco. And also, very notably, Costco has a hot dog and 20-ounce soda for $1.50. Now, for those of you who use currencies other than dollars, if perhaps, say you were in a situation where you're like, damn, I frequently fiend for Five Guys hot dogs and Five Guys regular drinks. If you instead replace those with a hot dog and soda combo from Costco, you could pay for your membership. It would pay for itself in only 6 hot dogs. But to sell the scale, let's do a numeric example. Don't dox me, but this is my local Costco, one of maybe 2 or 3. And you can see that it's roughly 200 meters diagonally. Taking some additional measurements, you can see that it is 360,000 square feet.
That's a big fucking store.
And that's that many square meters. I have a 900 square foot apartment. So you can put 400 of my apartment in one Costco.
God bless America.
And the other thing is, most of that is usable and walkable. The only exceptions I can think of off the top of my head are the areas where those hot dogs are actually made before they're served, the pharmacy, the optometry division, and like a little bit behind the deli. And it's not just the pure square footage. They're also 30 to 40 feet tall because they barely have any storage. I mean, you store the pharmacy stuff in the pharmacy, you store the hot dogs where the hot dogs go, and you store the deli stuff in the deli. But everything else, that is stacked on top of the bins where you pick your products from. And then there's some other stuff we'll get to later when it's more relevant. But to maybe sell the idea the most simply I can, the European mind simply cannot comprehend the sheer scale of a Costco, except if you live in one of those other countries. So now we can get into the other half of the equation. What is a roguelite?
Oh, I forgot.
Well, I mean, it's roguelike with... Okay, we got to define roguelikes first. So what's a roguelike? I'm going to connect my basics, my fundamentals, to my favorite roguelike of all time, Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. Now, those of you who follow Mandalore Gaming probably can, you could take a nap during this part because he just did Rogue. But roguelikes are going to have a pretty simple goal. For DCSS, it is you are a guy. You have a certain race, background, and religion. Your goal is to go into the dungeon, go to the bottom, retrieve the Orb of Zot, and get out alive. They're going to have a top-down perspective. Usually, these graphics are so simple that you could just depict them as ASCII characters. And for DCSS, you have the option of playing it either with ASCII or with a tile set. You have an action economy where time is going to be passing no matter what you do, which means attacking takes a turn, moving takes a turn, putting on or taking off armor takes a turn, maybe even more turns, depending on how heavy it is. Drinking potions, using scrolls, all of that contributes to time that you might need to use for something else, especially because hunger is coming into play. You have some resource management that gets into detail, because the game does throw resources at you. I don't remember whether it has a weight system, but there are a certain number of items that you'll come across where you have scrolls, which are used to cast spells that you don't know, and you have potions, which are video game potions. And the thing about that is the only scroll that you know of is a scroll of identify. Every other type of scroll is going to have a randomly generated string of characters that gives you no idea of what it actually does. So you need to use your scrolls of identify that you find cleverly, because it'll tell you the difference between whether your armor is cursed and will not come off unless you have a scroll of remove curse, which is another scroll that you would need to identify, or it'll tell you if you have a potion of healing. On that note, it has RNG that encourages gambling, much in the same vein. If you are caught in a corner, you're like, fuck, I'm out of scrolls of identify, but I have all these potions and all these scrolls. Maybe this could be a potion that levels me up and gives me the edge in this fight that I'm in. Or it could be a potion that boils me from the inside. You're going to have randomly generated levels. I think we've all been to video game that's had one of these. And you're going to have true permadeath, probably the most defining feature. When you die, that's it. The only thing you get is I think a graveyard file is what it's called for DCSS, that says who your character was, how they died, and how they did. Otherwise, you're just sent back to the beginning, pick your race, pick your background, pick your religion. Now we get to ask what a roguelite is. And the way that I'm answering this question is to illustrate common differences from what I just described for roguelikes. So for roguelites, we're going to have varieties in perspective. Roguelikes are top-down. Roguelites can be third-person, like Risk of Rain. They could be first-person, like Gunfire. They can be isometric, like Hades. You're going to have more action and less economy. Your decisions are going to be made at very clear junctures, and most of your combat is going to be done in real time. You're also going to have simpler RNG, where instead of having a dozen scrolls in your inventory, and you need to guess which one will give you the right effect that you want, instead, those junctures, you can pick things that have synergy with each other, or sometimes you don't have that much synergy. Usually, if RNG fucks you over, it's because you fail to coalesce a build, and it's not as much like roguelikes where you die because you fell through a hole in the floor and you broke your feet, and then you try to take a step which reveals a trap that is another hole in the floor that sends you down 6 floors and you just turn into a pancake. But I think the most common difference is meta progression. When you die in a roguelike, you're sent back to the beginning. You have a certificate that says you tried, but other than that, you're starting over. But for roguelites, death isn't the end. You usually have some way of making future runs better. Sometimes that's in the form of unlocks that you can do by completing certain challenges. Sometimes it's because of resources that you can gather on a run. And from what I've seen, this means that your runs become more bite-sized, and your game becomes kind of 2 different games that are intertwined. You go on your runs where you try to win the game, and you bring home a bunch of resources that you can use to empower your runs, that you can use to bring back more resources. It's a very good loop, and it's why I have not been able to separate myself from playing Hades 2. So your goal is also going to change. You have a simple goal with roguelikes: get in, get out in one try. Roguelites, you have more long-term goal. Roll credits. And along the way, figure out what upgrades you can get to make your runs go more smoothly. But what does this have to do with Costco? First, let's talk about the roguelike properties. You have time and resource pressure. See, when I go to Costco, I usually do it after work. And I usually get there around 6:30. It closes at 8. And I need you to imagine what it must be like to navigate a 360,000 square foot store in an hour and a half, plus hot dog time. Your cart also can only carry so many items, and to no one's surprise, gets heavier the more you put in it, which makes it more difficult to traverse the 360,000 square feet of store. The map is also randomly generated.
That's true.
There are some items that switch locations between your runs. Recently, I picked up these 3 white green dragon mahjong pillows. And when I went to Costco, I found them in this Lunar New Year bin. Every time I went, because I went to this bin 3 times. First, I got 1 pillow from it. Then I'm like, shit, mahjong is about triplets. I'll buy 2 more. It'll be lonely. I'm not building 13 orphans. It'll be lonely. And then I got 2 more because it's like triplets. And I got 1 more because it's like, well, there's 4 in the deck. Why the fuck not? I already have 3. And for each of those 3 times that I went to Costco, this bin was in a different place. The first time it was right in front of the deli. The second time it was right next in front of the store, right next to all of like the security cameras that you can install. The third time it was where I previously saw the giant fucking Bluey plushes. And I haven't been able to see it since. In addition, there are some items that switch in and out between runs. There's no guarantee that this Lunar New Year bin is going to be around forever. Hell, the last time I went to Costco, they had a fucking Yamaha grand piano next to the entrance. They had a man playing sweet tunes as you walked into the store. In a suit.
It really sounds
Beautiful.
like a magical experience.
And then, of course, there are some items that'll do both. Sometimes you won't find it. Sometimes you will. It'll have it in stock. Maybe it'll be in a different place. Maybe it'll go away. And finally, maybe the easiest parallel to a roguelike you can make with Costco. If you die in Costco, you die in real life.
True. That's the secret.
Costco for else.
So let's move into the more roguelite properties. You've got your difference in perspective. Costco is first person.
No way.
No way.
And you can see here what I was talking about with the cart. It looks like you welded 2 carts together. So when I'm talking about this shit getting heavy when it's loaded, look at how much space there is to load it.
Think how much our MFF cart weighed.
There's also more action and less economy. As I've alluded to, there is cart-based gameplay. I've already described the resource management side of things, so now I'll describe the action. Part of the core gameplay involves avoiding small hazards. They may appear with very little warning, so you need to be on your toes. And if one comes out in front of you and your cart is loaded, you better have the reflexes you need to pull all that weight to a stop. Also, you can probably eyeball it, but the aisle can only fit about maybe 2.5 carts, which means that if you have a cart on either side, you got to figure out a way through it, which, adds a neat puzzle element. It's a little flip on the gameplay.
Oh my god.
And unlike, other games where you have different currencies and all that, you don't have scrolls of identifying Costco. It says what it is on the barcode. Your only upgrade currency is going to be real American dollars, like Balatro.
Holy shit.
And these are also, it's not your only time going to Costco. You have more bite-sized runs that you can modify. I think the most common challenge run for Costco is hot dogless. I have yet to try it. But again, the thing that stands out about roguelites is the meta progression.
Oh, God.
And this is what blew my fucking mind.
Cards.
You can buy things at Costco that will help you shop at Costco.
Oh my god.
What does this mean?
So you can buy like a tote bag that lets you organize shit in your cart as you're shopping, so you don't need to do that Tetris that you got to do with some inventory management stuff. And the tech that blew my mind was coolers.
Holy shit.
Now, here's the thing. My local Costco, I don't know whether it's true of all Costco's, has its fridge and freezer section all the way in the back of a 360,000 square foot store, which means that much like picking up the orb of Zot, you are on a time limit as soon as you add something refrigerated or frozen to your cart. However, if you head into Costco with enough dollars, you can buy a cooler that will buy you more time. You can essentially trivialize this time limit mechanic. But the thing is, what
He's a genius.
is all this in pursuit of? What are your runs building towards? And I'm sorry to say, there's no way you can truly win Costco, right? I mean, you leave with your loot and you gain knowledge. You see how things are laid out. You get a little bit more tuned in. You figure out how to do things more efficiently, how to use your time better, how to use your resources. But fuck. That just ends up bringing me to another question. If Costco is run-based, has intense resource management, where a goal that might vary is to leave with as much as possible, that may include items to return with the next time, is Costco an extraction shooter? Thank you for your time. I'll be fielding questions. Yes, crap.
So you can press R and Binding Isaac go to reset a run instantly
Yes.
because you have that RNG. What's the in Costco?
So I don't know. I
can answer
think
that as
there's
an
a
experienced Costco user. You scream like a psychopath.
Yes. That I think
180 and you go to the order
Yes.
shop that's nearby.
They might be adding a shortcut to it in the next patch, but Avantha's suggestion is pretty much what seasoned people will do.
I have no words for you.
Teru?
Does permanent death only exist in Costco and nowhere else?
What are you implying?
That's the question. Is it only permanent?
Permanent,
Costco?
I think and I heavily invite being corrected if I'm wrong, but I think permanent death on our plane of existence, including Costco, is a global thing. I do not advise testing this.
Global setting.
Yes.
There is
All right, I'm very interested in. Is it Steam Deck verified?
I think they're still working on that. Last I checked, it was unknown, but I think I heard mumblings that once they drop the patch with the quick restart, they'll get that verified.
I got a question.
Yes.
How do you get to the hierarchy shelves? Like this
You
item?
you
need a
don't.
ladder? You don't.
You don't. Those are off limits. Those higher shelves, you don't buy from those. Those are storage. Where a normal store would have like a back room where they bring stuff out and restock it. No, they bring shit down from those higher shelves to put in the place where you're allowed to get it from.
Here's a secret gamer. They give you into future runs.
I see.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose if you wanted to go the stealth route, which has also been teased, but I don't know. There might be an ARG. I'm not following it. You might be able to buy a ladder at Costco and bring that around with you next time.
Part of the secret ending.
Yes.
So I have another question. Like you showed it, he was first person, and like it gave me massive like dungeon crawler vibes. Is Costco a dungeon?
Yes.
And like you mentioned, also just mentioned ladders and like using tools like this. Is Costco a Strand like type game as well?
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Might be right.
If you fuck up the balance of the things in your cart, it will be unpleasant. And the thing is, you can see that the cart has like an undercarriage on it. So you have additional options for how you want to balance the weight.
Exactly.
Yes, crap.
One last question. What have you considered on a Sam's Club maybe?
I went with a friend of mine back in college, and we did manage to score some good loot. We got a kitchen shelving thing that I think my roommate back then still uses to this day. However, I would not consider it because they don't have a hot dog for $1.50.
Oh, I got another question.
Tabby's had a question for like a billion years. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
So this is not okay. This is not like a funny bit question. I was just kind of wondering since that came up. Say I were to purchase the $42,000 Yamaha grand piano from the store. That's not going to fit in the back of my Honda Civic. What happens?
That's your
I
problem.
I think you can get it delivered because I don't think you can also transport things like an entire sectional sofa in the car that you take to Costco.
Yeah.
This is another mechanic that you have to keep in mind, is that some of the bigger things may not even need to fit in your cart. However, they will probably, I do not see the meta progression possibilities for the Yamaha grand piano, but experimentation is encouraged in these kinds of things.
All right.
To add to that, if I may, I think there's an additional option. Searching 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton may yield some results.
Yes.
All right. I got a question about like the genre. Since it's there are more people in Costco and also it's subscription based, does it mean there's also an MMO?
God, fucking damn it.
No. I would say no.
No.
Because a lot of MMO stuff is about It involves the interaction between you and the other people in the world. And considering that at large, your experience with other shoppers at Costco, unless you bring them with you in like a 3 or a 4 stack, you are doing your best to either assert your dominance or stay clear of them, which only lends credence to my extraction shooter theory.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I'd say.
So the whole subscription thing, that's more of a electric crowbar kind of deal.
A what?
More like an electric crowbar kind of deal for donors only.
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, it's just a co-op joke.
Oh,
It like can you buy without a subscription? I believe the answer is no.
oh. You cannot. You will need to when you go to checkout, you will need to show your membership card.
Yeah, you have to scan it.
Yep.
So it is for donors only.
You can shop there, or you can like browse. You can go into the dungeon and not get anything. You could do a scav run by telling the person checking people in that you're there for the pharmacy, because they can't keep you from going to that. But without your membership card, you cannot buy anything.
Can you get the hot dog though without
Yeah, I
a
see.
membership?
What?
Can you get the hot dog though? without
Can you
a
get the what?
membership? The hot dogs.
Oh, you don't need a membership to get the hot dogs.
Hell yeah.
Oh shit.
I thought you did, but and maybe it depends on the layout of the store, but essentially you need to go.
They're going to start making membership required for the food.
What the fuck?
Yes.
God damn it. Yeah, that's the thing in the next patch. They're adding quick restart and making it so you had to be a membership for the fucking food, which is going to throw off all the balance and is going to knock me off the fucking leaderboard. Great.
People are going to be posting about this. I predict it.
Yeah. Go to our competitive _ Costco. You'll see.
Man, fucking after this, they're gonna fucking sell Costco.
Oh yeah. Waffle just said in the chat, if one person owns the game, anyone can play that joins with you.
Yes, you can bring in you can if you have like I said 3 or 4 stack earlier, based on the number of children I've had to break in front of, you can come in with like a 6 stack and nobody cares. So long as you're all in a group, so long as you are relatively close to the cart as you enter and you look like you are all chummy with each other, you could do a 6 stack.
That's cool. The game comes with download play support. That's awesome.
Yeah. Like they won't be able to get in by themselves, and if you want, every membership at Costco is actually 2 memberships, so you can give one to a friend or family member, so long as they live in the same household. I don't know how they evaluate that. I added my little sibling, even though they live an hour away and have a Costco that they shop at that's closer to them, but also I think we have the same address on our driver's licenses, so maybe they didn't consider that, so who knows?
That's some undefined behavior in this latest patch. And
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll get to that.
We'll see if it shows up under known bugs.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
So on next, can you rate my rig?
Your rig? Did you send me something? Oh.
Maybe.
We'll see if it shows up.
Have lived. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh my god. Was that for MFF?
Yep.
Okay. This is actually great. Thank you so much. Because this just I don't think I could find a better picture of exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Yeah.
Hard.
All you need is just one parent who's like looking through the peanuts while their kid is like 10 feet away looking at an electric scooter. All they need to be like is like, Daddy, look at what I found. And then you're just like, you are hoping that you have the core and arm strength to pull this to a stop on a dime.
If you also see that Diet Coke flat above the Gatorade, we actually lost that while I was braking.
No.
Oh, boom.
Well, if you lost that, I didn't notice. So it's
It was mostly intact, but it was lost from the bottom. Like it took a spill.
yeah, and there's where your strand-like gameplay comes in.
Yep.
Strand Lake? Yeah, Strand Lake. It's a Death Stranding lake.
Yeah.
I take my rig back. Thank you.
I think that was a 400 pack of cups at the top there.
No.
And we used a lot of them.
Yeah. I don't know how to delete this. I'm gonna put it away over here.
You can middle click and then hit destroy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Multiplied.
Are there any other questions? Thank you so much then.